welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the first video of a section that we're calling E-Reviews, where we do reviews of all indie products, whether it be comics, artwork, or movies. My name is Comix, I'm the leader of this group, and my two co-hosts with me today are...
Zedow, it's your boy.
And the missus.
And today we're reviewing the indie comic called Dark Blood, written and drawn by Jamal Malik Clymer. He has his own studio called D13mon Studios. I've acquired this comic, I would say, a few months back, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. This is the first volume, and Zedow, can you give us a quick synopsis of the volume that we read?
Sure. So, Volume 1's quick synopsis is basically, Knight discovers a race of demons known as Blood Aims from his that appear in his human world, and upon the discovery, he finds out that there's more to this than what he sees.
Yes, and if you guys want to check this comic out, we'll have links to the descriptions below. You can go to the Facebook page and follow his work. This is a good story, but let's continue. Start with the review. Now, I can say myself that this is a really long volume. It's chapters, 1 through 11? It's 11 chapters. Unlike my two co-hosts here, I've read through it twice in one sitting, which was not like the best idea ever.
Yeah, not the best idea. You drove yourself to insanity trying to read the entire thing.
Yeah, it gave me quite a headache because it was a lot. But the one good thing that I can say about this volume is that it pulls you in quick. It really does. And because it pulls you in quick, it got me invested into it, as soon as I, started flipping through the pages. Now, Jamal said in the comic itself, I believe it says 5 years he wrote this. And you can see that his work is actually showing. Now, the one thing I want to get into to start this review, let's talk about the characters. Because, they the ones that's going to drive the story forward. Now, the one good thing about this volume is that if you ever get lost on who's who, each chapter in this volume is named after a character, so you can always go back for that. Any of you want to talk about any characters before I give my insight on them?
Yeah. And considering the fact that the characters they very unique in their own way. In terms of the hairstyle, I believe, because in terms of the hairstyle, the costume and everything, the costume have great details too.
Yeah, even though the costumes look very big, even on the Guardians, but they got some very big clothes. And I did talk to Jamal about that too. Which, by the way, I talked to him about the hairstyle, and he told me that he got his inspiration kind of from like Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, and basically other animes and comics he used to watch and read growing up.
Now, you said Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, just examples.
Yeah, but from those examples, you can tell that, the style of the characters' hair is early 90s anime.
Mm-hmm.
Very big hair.
Now, another thing about the characters, there's humans, obviously. There's these demons called Blood Aims. The humans and the Blood Aims, they, I want to say they're kind of like in a pack together, so...
Kind of like symbiotes.
Yeah, and the humans work together with Blood Aims to, do battle and stuff. And each Blood Aiming human has a guardian, like you brought up earlier. Since there was, I believe, 10 characters that was introduced in this chapter, there was 10 guardians. So, and then you gotta think about this. For every human character, there's a Blood Aim for them. For every Blood Aiming human character, there's, the guardians. So there's basically a total of, I think, 30 names you gotta remember, which is...
And that's just on one hand, because you still got the villains that pop up.
Yes, and to me, my favorite character, of course, is the main character. Like I told Jamal, when we was at the convention last weekend. Was it last weekend? Yeah, it was last weekend. I told him, I was like, I can't wait to see what he has in store. Because I want to see, Knight's abilities. I want to see what he can do, in battle. Instead of like, of course, I want to see the character grow and change and all that, but I want to see, his abilities because that's probably gonna be what's the most one of the biggest interesting things to me is what his character can do, and
Yeah,
can't use his
but
powers without his blood. Eh?
yeah, because the one thing about this volume is it basically introduced everyone, at least from the hero side and whatnot, and we haven't gone into what they can do in terms of fighting abilities.
Yeah.
Aside from one Mickey, and her ability isn't really used for fighting; it's used more for reconnaissance.
Now we did. There was, I believe, it might have been either the second chapter or maybe the first, maybe the end of the first. We do get a glimpse of a fight, but it's very brief, so we don't really get to see much of what Knight can do with his blood aim.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's at the end of the first chapter though. You do see a little bit of what the Guardians can do later on in the volume, and they do kind of give a explanation on how, let alone why they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, on some world building. Now, now that I brought up world building, you might want to get into the setting. Um, and Foggy, you want to take this one before I give my
Yeah.
insight?
Yeah. So basically, in terms of the setting, like of course, it's the setting on the human world is pretty much a big basic. It gives kind of like a feel of like a Japanese feel to it.
Yeah,
As for the demon world, all I can say is it's quite interesting to see.
because it looks like it's on fire.
Yes, everything looks like it's on fire. Everything's happening.
Like, what's that Alicia Keys song? This place is on fire. Sorry.
Oh my goodness! I can't
I am
believe I
sorry.
actually did that. but yeah, let me but the human world, you don't get to see much of it. You see,
Yeah.
you see with like Knight hanging out with his friends in the beginning. He goes to
Yeah.
school and AIM is following him. But
And you see Knight's home a little bit.
yeah, and you once Knight leaves the school, he starts going towards the demon world, and that's when the design of everything just starts to change. And
Right.
the demon world, of course, is going to look more interesting than the human world because we don't know what it looks like. So he uses the demon world, the early presentation of the demon world to get you wanting to see more. What he got me wanting to see more. I really want to see what's in the
Right.
demon world.
Right.
And like you said, Zedow, the world looks like it's on fire, but they say that's a barrier. I believe that's what they said it was.
Yeah. The barrier, I think, it came from to their ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Now that was
But I really liked it.
I do like the setting, but I this is me personally. I wish I could have the human world, could have been used a little bit more in the story before going to the demon world because it's
Oh yeah.
Which would tie into the pacing. Yeah, so yeah, it did seem a bit quick how they went from human world to demon world, but everything in between that, it didn't feel like it was going too quick.
okay, it has a quick start. I feel like the quick start was only used to get you into the story, to get you to the parts that you want to see, so you don't be bored once you start reading.
That actually might be the reason why that starts off, because it starts off quick, and then it starts slowing down. The only thing really quick aside from the beginning is how quick they go from human world to the demon world. But once they get to demon world, then it takes a while for them to actually get to where they're going.
Not only that, another quick thing was the introduction of characters. Um, like in the beginning, you see AIM, and then you meet Knight, and then they both meet each other, and then and then it just keeps going on and on and on, and then like
Yeah.
every time you keep reading, just someone new. And I don't know if it's just might be me, or if this occurs to anyone else that have read it. Um, it feels like because those characters are introduced so quick, it doesn't really give you that much time to take somebody like somebody that just like you showed up last chapter. Their name still is fresh in your mind, and when somebody new show up, you gotta go,
Yeah.
who was that in the last chapter? Oh yeah, it was this person. Like,
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
of course you're
I
gonna
mean,
remember. Go ahead.
it's understandable why that might come up because once one person introduced, you go into a little bit with them, and then something happens and ends up introducing another character. Like for example, with Sean and Crash, you saw you meet Knight and Aim and his friends and one of the other Blood Aim users, and then they go into a shop with two Guardians, and then Sean crashes through, which then causes a bit of a problem.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, Montville.
Yeah, and like pacing, it's like it can be like a roller coaster. Like it could go
It
like
is.
it can start at the top, it could go fast, and then it can go slow. But with everything that's happened in the very beginning, it starts to slow up. I want to say like maybe chapter 4, maybe chapter 5. It starts to slow up, and then
Right.
after I will say about maybe chapter 6, they start throwing like a lot of information at you. In terms of world building, they throw a lot of information at you. It's
They
the
do
Hmm.
Go
they
ahead.
do they do give you a lot of information, and I think the reason why it gives you a lot of information early, especially in volume one, is so that in volume two, if there is any more information you want to know, they can clarify some of the other stuff without having to go too far deep into what they should have done in volume one.
Right
Mm.
now,
It's kind of clever.
yes, it is, and the information that they're throwing at you is to let you know how it's basically like Jamal like used that part of the story and was like, here's how this world works, and he's basically telling you like he's giving you a rundown of everything. Now, in volume 2, from what he showed us the preview, it's going to be action packed. So we're probably not going to get as much information as we want, but we're going to get something,
Right.
Pretty much.
which is a good thing.
However, though, we will get to see the characters in more action sequences that we wanted.
Yes.
Right.
Speaking of characters in the action sequences, like we stated earlier, there's humans and they're bonded with the Blood Angels. When they fuse together or combine or whatever you want to call it, they become the Dark Bloods.
Mhm.
Which obviously the title of the story. But when they're in the Dark Bloods, they're almost like the Blood Angels give the humans like the abilities from their world. They like give them all the stuff that they could use, but more. If you're trying to get what I'm saying. Um,
Yeah, they basically give them like superhuman abilities as well as different powers that are unique to their own bloodline.
Yeah.
yeah, like that. And the cool thing is, if you go to the back of the book, you can actually see like a glimpse of everybody in their dark blood forms, along with their blood aims.
Pretty
Um,
much.
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's actually really cool. Like I know, like Night, is at the very top of the book, but I actually myself, I remember after like reading it the first time, I went through the chapters to look at each character's names, went to the back, and they're in order. So I went to the chapters, went to the back of the book, and started pointing out which character was which in their dark blood form. And you only get to see their faces and like a little bit of their hair, and you get to see a little bit of the blood ink. But yeah, I want to see what the rest of their outfits look like.
We'll find out soon enough once the chapter comes out.
Yeah, and well, I wouldn't say chapter, more like volume, because he puts
I mean,
yeah. And now the next segment that we wanted to talk about, because we had brought this up early in the review, is the art style. Now,
The art
like,
style?
yes. Now, for me, this his art style hits home because it's early '90s, early 2000 anime, and
Mm-hmm.
my gateway anime was Dragon Ball, and he kind of has that Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho,
A bit of Yu-Gi-Oh with the crazy hair and everything.
Yeah.
yeah, Beyblade type of look. It's like everybody, like you can look at like Knight, and you could tell that like where he got his inspiration from. I know he said he got his
Yeah.
inspiration from multiple sources, but that's what I mainly see.
Right, and
Mhm.
as someone who grew up with Dragon Ball, and to begin with, as his own gateway to anime, yeah, I get that nostalgia because when I started reading, I was like, this feels familiar somehow, but I don't know why. It wasn't until I got a chance to talk to him again that I got my confirmation. Like, oh, it reminds me of Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh and every other mostly shonen anime I've seen thus far.
Yeah, it gives a good nostalgia feel to it in terms of each of the characters. And it's not only just in terms of the characters, but in terms of the fighting style as well. And because the way how like you had like the effects there and all that good stuff. Um, the terms of the conversation in terms of the fight on the fight scene, like the beginning of it,
Mm-hmm.
is pretty well done. I really like how Knight turned to a was dark blood
Yeah.
and he pushed the enemy right back. It's kind of over exaggerated, but I really like it.
I
The only thing is the anatomy, which Jamal mentioned about that, along with the composition with the settings, especially with the was it Demon World.
yeah.
I really like the composition of it.
Speaking of problems that you mentioned, yeah, so the anatomy is a bit off. There is some grammar issues in there, which he fully admitted and whatnot. It doesn't take away from the book, but it's noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure every indie artist has, or every indie person has that, but I would have to say like I feel like one thing I do like about when I was reading through it, it's like there was some pages like his panels where his characters would be standing outside the panel, give it the good 3D look, so he knows what he's doing. It's just like and I also seen actually how he puts this comic together, and
Yeah.
it looks very time consuming, and it's not, you could tell that his work is not rushed, which is a
Yeah.
good thing.
He takes as much care as he can to make it come out right. And
Yeah.
yes, he's gonna have some nicks here and there though, but the fact remains, the finished product, even with like the small hiccups, if the finished product is good, then you'll look past it.
Yeah.
Even if it is noticeable, if the rest of it is good, then you're like, okay, so he has some problems here and there, but oh no, the thing was a good thing.
Yeah, it's not all
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah, it's like the little problems that he has in the comic. It's like you don't notice. You have to do like a double take to notice it. Because when I was first reading it, I was just going through it and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't look right. So I went back and looked at it. I was like, oh, made a little issue here, but I'm gonna just keep on moving because it's something minor. It's not like now if there was an issue on every page, then there would be a problem, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One more thing, because there's one thing that it kind of caught my eye. Towards the end, where I believe he's like one of the guardians.
He's a guardian with angel wings.
Yeah, the guardian with angel wings when he flew away.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the perspective between him and having
The city down below.
Yeah, the city down below, like a good perspective. I really liked how he did that and he pulled it off.
It actually does give the idea that he's actually flying.
Yes,
or flying high in
it's
the sky.
not flat. So so stuff like that. It kind of like not being too critical in terms of artwork, because at least he is doing something to not make it look flat.
And
that's what I like.
And on top of it, the way his position, it makes it look like he's flying in kind of a spiral formation.
Yes.
Like as many stuff I've seen with someone fly straight up, and they're always like kind of twisting, flying up in the sky. That's kind of how it looks without showing the characters twisting, but you can see the city kind of in a circle.
Yeah.
Like usually, when characters are like jumping up or something, and you're looking at the perspective from where the character is, and every other character is on the ground. Usually, half the time, like when you see stuff like that, it looks angled.
It
Sometimes
does.
it looks angled, but I don't think it does that here. I really
It
can't look at
does.
the, but that's just, he knew, where the art direction was going with that. So he knew exactly how
Mhm.
to do that. I'm pretty sure getting that down pat took some time. Cause,
It does.
cause, like I'm pretty sure perspectives is probably like one of the, like when I'm writing, I know the thing is I have to make sure the perspective is like not also in my image, but something that somebody else can see. But
And that's go ahead.
since he's the writer and the artist, he doesn't have to, make sure that, the perspective he's working on can be looked the same as if somebody else was, writing or drawing it themselves. And kudos to him for that, because throughout this whole story, he he knew exactly what he wanted when it came
Yeah.
to the art stuff.
And considering the fact that by him drawing certain perspective, because even me as an artist, it is really hard to do mostly 1 point perspective, because when it comes to 1 point perspective, everything had to be at that 1 point, and it's going to be difficult because you have to make sure if it looks right. Because if it doesn't look right, then it's going to be all over the place. For him, I'm pretty happy to see someone not only a writer but also do the art. He did so well.
And like the way how his art is done, with the nostalgia feel and all that, I do wish sometimes myself, I was an artist, but I'm kind of glad that I can't draw and write because I'm pretty sure it would be a really big headache on me. But for him, from what I've been seeing, what he be doing with his work, it looks like he has fun all the way through, and that's
Yeah,
all. That's all he
Well,
really had to do.
well, if you can't have fun doing what you like, what's the point doing it in the first place?
true.
That's true. And I was always told if you're having fun while you're, making like while you're working on something, then it's not work.
You're right.
But we can, now move on to the final section, our conclusion and our final verdict for the comic. Let's get the conclusion first. Um, who wants to go first?
I could go first.
Ladies first, then.
Alright, so in terms of the conclusion, in terms of the pros and cons, I really like the character design.
Okay.
And I really like how the story is going for. Um, the only thing, like besides with the whole anatomy and the grammar issues, which it can be done and it can be improved. Um, but other than that, it's not too much to the point where it's unforgiving.
Yeah, it's
So
unbearable.
right. So for me, in that standpoint, for the first volume, I give it 7 out of 10 because I really enjoyed the story. Yeah, the pacing is there be certain point of the pace is too quick for me, and I want to somewhat invest in certain character to understand a little bit more. But other than that, like I see what his direction is going for.
Zedow.
Comics. Let the leader go first.
I was gonna say rock paper scissors, but we're not right next to each other. So all right, I got you. The pros and cons, you listed that. Foggy, you basically had the same ones that I had. Um, for me, I feel like I'm ready for volume two. I was really hoping like he would have had it at the convention we was at last time because I would have pretty sure I would have bought a copy for all three of us. But I'm in terms of pacing, it was fast and then it got slow. But like I felt like a little overwhelmed with all the information being thrown at us and all the new characters coming in all at the same time. But the pacing was in the right setting to pull you in and to slow up right where you're already in. So it's like it goes fast in the beginning, it pulls you in, and now that you're invested, let's slow down and let me show you something. And that was the right way to do it. My final verdict, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Me personally, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 just because I'm an indie comic writer myself, and I see him thriving and doing his work, and like he's still going, and that's pushing me to do my own work. Um, Now I'm not giving him an 8 out of 10 simply because like he's going to be watching this review. I'm actually giving my honest opinion.
Alright, so in conclusion, with everything y'all said, first I'm gonna give my verdict and then I'm gonna give my conclusion. Verdict, I'm gonna give it a 8.5. Now,
Higher than me.
Now, 8.5 because the 0.5 is mostly because of the nostalgia feeling I get from reading it. The 8 though normally it comes from the pros and cons that y'all mentioned, and as someone who tends to nitpick certain words or phrases or even things that pop up that give me a headache, I didn't see it as often here as I initially popped in my head like this might pop up a little more often. I'm hoping it doesn't, and it didn't. So aside from the anatomy, the grammar, and the fact that I think he did it like he did this in 5 years, but I think he tried to put this book out like a day or so. So he was trying, and that's only if I remember correctly. But other than that though, it reminds me of Real Roller Coaster. Actually, it reminds me of an episode of Dragon Ball where, especially if you come off a cliffhanger, it starts off right in your face, but then slows down as the episode goes on, and it starts picking up near the end.
Yeah.
Now you did bring up nostalgia. That was what I like. That was why I bumped it to an 8. Nostalgia. Because it's taking me back to those days where I got into anime and fell in love with it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But all in all, yeah, I give it an 8.5, and I'm actually looking forward to chapter 2 because that cliffhanger is like, oh snap, things about to get real.
Yeah.
We about to see a fight.
Yeah, I can't wait to.
Now, you gave it a 7, Foggy. Zedow, you gave it an 8.5. We're gonna round it up. Let's say overall, from all three of us.
Overall, probably about an 8.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right what I was about to say. So overall, from all of us, you have our own individual scores, but from all of us all together, it's an 8. So, Jamal, when you watch this video, we cannot wait for Volume 2. We're ready for it. Whenever you get that out, let us know. We will get on the ball, we will read it, and we will do another review.
Like Nintendo's Reggie said, my body is ready!
What he said. Now this concludes our very first indie review for the E-Reviews on our YouTube channel. You can find the links to the description to Jamal's comic in the description below. We have all of our Facebook, our Instagram. We have a Twitter too, but we mostly use Facebook more. You can follow us and follow Jamal to keep up with all our work so you can, maybe you can submit some of your indie products to us and we can review them. And we can give our view to them. Maybe more members of the Ether group can join this time instead of just 3, because there's 8 of us. But there's only 3 of us here.
And also, don't forget to follow me at Zedow Broadcast if you want to check out movie reviews and different types of editorials.
Yes, he does reviews that's not indie. So if you want stuff like that, he also does gaming. He streams. And all our info will be in the description, so you can just, go down there. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to our first E-Review, and we see you guys later. Comix is out.
Peace.
See ya.